Hello everyone. Today I want to start by telling you the capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill, and the willingness to learn is a choice. So I know you have the gift, you have the skill, and you made the good choice to learn English. Ki jan nou ye tout moun, vle komanse pou mdi nou, kapasite ko gen pou apren, se yon don, se yon kado. Habilité qu'on gagne pour apprendre, c'est une aptitude liée à la carrière. Et l'on a une volonté pour apprendre, pour faire un choix. So, moi, je connais que ou gagne un cadeau ça, ou gagne une aptitude ça, et ou fait bon choix pour apprendre parler anglais. So, and I know what we learn becomes a part of who we are. What you learn becomes a part of who you are. So, keep learning English. A few weeks ago, we started to learn the tense in English, okay? And I guess 2 weeks ago, I had a class about present tense, okay? And last week, I had an exam that was an evaluation regarding the present tense. And today, we are starting the past tense in English. As you may know, the past tense in English is similar to the present tense, and I'm going to explain myself. Ok, quelques semaines de cela, nous avons commencé à étudier temps en anglais. Ok, ça a été 2 semaines, nous avons fait premier cours nous sur temps présent, et semaine dernière, nous avons fait un cours qui était en évaluation, un examen que nous avons gagné. Donc, jeudi, on a commencé avec temps passé. Nous disons que temps passé a semblé avec temps présent, et je vais l'expliquer pour qui ça. Parce que dans le temps passé, on joue premièrement the simple past, the past perfect, the past continuous or past progressive, and the past perfect progressive. Même genre, dans le présent, nous avons 4 catégories. So, si vous ne pas regarder cours sur temps présent, vous avez un link là dans la description en bas pour regarder. So, jeudi, nous décidé de commencer avec temps passé. Okay? Today we are starting with the past simple or simple past, or what we usually call the preterite. Okay? Jeudi, on a commencé avec passé simple là, ça que est prétérite là. Okay? Le prétérite. I don't want to do too much at a time, so jeudi, on a seulement prend past simple or simple past in English. The simple past is a verb tense that is used to talk about something that is completely done and something that happened before now. Okay? Passé simple là, yo utilisé le pour un bagage qui t'est passé longtemps, en fait, qui t'est passé et qui finit complètement, qui pas un rapport du tout avec kounya kote n'a pas. There are different forms that you can use in the past tense. There are different forms that you can use in the past tense. Okay, the affirmative form, the negative form, and the interrogative form. Il y a plusieurs formes qu'on est capable d'utiliser dans past tense là, dans prétérite là. OK, dans prétérite là, passé simple là. OK? Il y a une forme affirmative, il y a une forme négative et il y a une forme interrogative. OK? Be with me for a second. Nous prenons un petit temps pour nous garder qui sont capables de construire past simple. OK? Simple past. Vous connaissez, you know, there are regular verbs and irregular verbs. Il y a un verbe qui est régulier en anglais et il y a un verbe qui est irrégulier. Étant donné que simple past, ça n'est le passé simple là, il y a un rapport avec un bagage qui passe et qui finit. So, on a besoin tantôt utiliser verbe régulier, tantôt utiliser verbe qui irrégulier là pour exprimer. Okay? Let's start with the regular verbs. For the regular verbs ended with the consonant, you need to add ed at the end. Pour verbe régulier qui finit par une consonne, on a besoin d'ajouter ed derrière verbe là pour former prétérite là ou bien simple past là. For example, push, to push, okay, you have the pushed. Ou différence qui gagne en prononciation. And we also have to ask, okay, asked. To work, worked. To call, called, ok? Ou ka remarke que nous just ajoute ed des verbes sa yo, ok? Pour verbe qui termine par y, ou a besoin mette y la changer en i pour ajouter ed, ok? For the verbs that are ended with y, you need to change the y to I in order to add the ed to the verb, okay? For example, to study, studied, okay? To cry, cried. However, for the verb to play, it's different. You don't need to change the y to I, okay? Pour verbe to play, pas besoin de changer y là en i, on va seulement ajouter ed at the end, okay? You get it? Good. Il y a quelques verbes qui on a just besoin d'ajouter d at the end, just add d at the end. For example, to love, you just add d at the end. Loved, to like, liked, and so on, okay? You really need to learn the verbs. Et n'a bien un cours spécialement pour verbe parce que tellement gain variance dans question verbe yo, nous pas kawè tout kounya la, okay? Because now we're learning the simple past. Now, gain quelques verbes yo même for the irregular verbs, the past tense, the simple past is the same as the infinitive, okay? The simple past is the same as the would, okay? Gain verbe irrégulier yo même qui gagne simple past qui même bagay avec infinitif là. For example, to cut, cut. Okay? To put, put. To hit, hit. And so on. Ça yo ni infinitif là, ni simple past là, yo été même bagay. You get it? Let's move on. Some of the irregular verbs are just erratic. They are just so different from the root. Okay? Il y a un verbe irrégulier qui est vraiment différent de infinitif là. For example, to see, saw. Okay? To go, went. To rise, rose. Okay? So you need to learn those verbs. You get it? Let's move on. So let me give you a few examples of the simple past. For example, you may say, when I was a child, I went to the countryside every Christmas time. Le m'te ti moun, m'te kon ale en province chaque fête Noël, chaque moment Noël, okay? When I was a child, I went to the countryside every Christmas time. Ça sou bagay ki pase, ki pa gen rapport avec Kunya. Second example, he took the money and run. He took the money and run. Li pran kob la et li kouri. Ça son bagay ki fait, ki passe, ki pa gen rapport avec Kunya. Third example, I knew how to fight even as a child. I knew how to fight even as a child. M'te konnen ki jan pou m'batay, même le m'te ti moun, okay? Ça son bagay expliquer qui t'est passé dans l'enfance mais qui pas grand rapport avec on, OK? Le m'te ti moun, m'te connaît ça, okay? So that's the third example of the affirmative form of the simple past qui j'on ka utiliser. Il y a plusieurs autres exemples. There are so many examples so we could use, but we don't want to do, I don't want to do too much at a time, so let's stop here. So now let's talk about the negative form of the simple past. For the negative form of the simple past, we need to use the auxiliary did, which is the verb to do, okay? To do, did, done. So you need the auxiliary did plus not, ok? Pour forme négative là, ou besoin auxiliaire did plus not. Did, c'est verbe to do, verbe faire, ok? Login to do, did, done. Ou prend did comme auxiliary, ou utiliser pour forme négative là. For example, you may say, I didn't see the book. I did not see the book. M'pas trouvé livre là. I didn't go to the party. I did not go to the party. M'pat aller nan fête là, okay? This is the negative form of the simple past, okay? But, however, for to be, okay, ou pas besoin auxiliary did because it's was and were. For example, you may say, I was not sick yesterday. M'pat malade hier. I was not sick yesterday. You were not in your mood last week. You were not in your mood last week. Or you may say, Paul was not as happy as his friends after winning the game. Paul pas aussi content que zami yo lèl te fin gagner jouet là, okay? So this is the verb to be for the simple past. You get it? Or another example, we could say the demonstrators were not ready to leave the streets after the president gave the speech. Or we could say the demonstrators were not ready to leave the streets after the speech of the prime minister. The demonstrators were not ready to leave the streets after the speech of the prime minister. Manifestant yo pas prêt, yo pas décidé pour quitter la rue pour rentrer la caillou après discours que premier ministre là te bail là. Okay? Now for the interrogative form, you need to use the same auxiliary did plus the subject. Now you reverse did plus the subject plus the verb. Okay? For example, you may say, did you see that movie? Did you see that movie? Okay? Did you go to your friend's house? Did you go to your friend's house? Did you do it? Ou kapab tande ke assez souvent moun ap utilize did. So when they use did is the simple past. So that's the interrogative form of the simple past. Pa bliye ke nou kapab di simple past or past simple or preterite. For the verb to be, you may use the singular was or was not, and the plural, which is were or were not. Kadi I was not, or you were not. Okay? Pour ka mieux comprendre ça, ou capable garder cours que te fait verb to have and to be. Ou ap jwenn link là dans la description qui en bas. Okay? The link is in the description below regarding the verbs to have and to be. So that was the simple past from the past tense. Pas oublier que me dit jeudi, nous pas faire trop long. C'est seulement simple past là n'a étudié. Next week n'a gagné the past perfect, then the past progressive, then the past perfect progressive. So that's all for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the lesson. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. And don't forget, what you learn becomes a part of who you are. Okay? So apprendre fini yon partie de vous-même. And the capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. And the willingness to learn is a choice. Toujours faire bon choix. Fais choix pour apprendre. See you next week.